something new could grow. I mean, there's logic to that. It makes sense to me. And that's why for me, when I did her like a tree of life, so to speak. She's got her hands up there, but skulls and destruction, and underneath Gustav Klimt-esque spirals and color coming up from below and growing. And that's why I made my Kali winking. And she's called a persistent visionary in my terms, because I just feel like that's what she is. She sees what's in the way for me, and she helps me identify it so that I can be aware of it, break it down, and let it go. Yeah? So let me see here. Sorry, take a breath. So for me, these two are a tag team. When I'm in my happy place, I'm great, you know, but when I bump up against something, I move over to Kali to say, what do I need to break down? What can I let go of so I can be here again? It's a constant. I mean, sometimes for me it's every day. It's a daily attention to breaking things down and opening out. Turning. You want to take a minute to turn? This is good for us too. When I taught at St. Francis, really close now. Now we're the front. When I taught at St. Francis, I had to do these really long lectures, like 1 hour, 2 hour, 3 hours long. And so I, of course, researched, if anybody knows me, I researched the best way to do a lecture. And
that doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. It gets back to my structures. I can tell you more. But that, I really, I looked at that, and it's like 10 minutes before people start to, you know, and it's because we have all this wonderful cerebrospinal fluid that bathes our brain and helps all the connections happen. And when you sit too long without moving, that all pools at the base of your spine. And so you need to stimulate it. So if you want to bounce in your chairs, that's what I always tell my students, bounce around, we get up, we move around, stand on your head, whatever you do. But that, so there we go, got up, and you moved around, and now everybody's with me again, right? So moving on, it turns out that when you break down who you are, you open up to who you're meant to be. And I was finding that the things that I had told myself and the stories that others had told about me weren't necessarily true. And I wanted to find new ways to talk about myself and new ways to tell my story. And so I looked for an image to help me do that. That's what the new Eve of Guadalupe is. However, she started life as midlife Madonna. Because again, now I'm in my mid-40s, and I'm really feeling like, you know, I'm getting there. You know, I wanted to explore that aspect of being in my midlife and having an image that would help me with that. And because I think many women in that age group, age period, want to tell their story and redefine themselves. And I was really feeling that. And then I did these, the yellow starbursts around her. And I don't know how many of you are familiar, again, with the Virgin de Guadalupe and the yellow starburst around her. And when I did that, I thought, oh, the Virgin de Guadalupe is here. You know, because, you know, it sounds like I didn't plan this out. She started, this is many iterations later. You know, you get done and you think, I'm going to put something around her. And then you do it and you think, oh my God, it's the Virgin de Guadalupe. You know, and I was just, for me, that's how it was. And so I did this, and I love the Virgin de Guadalupe. I think it's from my Catholic history. I also think, I do think I might have been Mexican in a previous life. I really do, because I just, anything Mexican, and I'm just like, you know, wide open. I just love Mexican art and Mexican history. So anyway, that's what I thought here. And I also thought it was funny to call her Midlife Virgin, because that's what I felt like, and I just thought it was kind of amusing. But I really did feel like a virgin. I really feel like I was starting something new and that I didn't know anything about in this midlife situation that I found myself in. So I did that. And then I decided to add a snake at one point. This is many years. I mean, this is like 3 years long. This isn't like I sat down on the weekend and then change, because it is oil paint, so it makes you sit back and wait till it all dries and before you can do anything, which is great. It was a great exercise for me. But I added a snake at one point, sitting there across from it, and thought, oh, she was a snake. She was the whole thing. Because snakes are transformative. Every time they grow, they shed their skin. They grow, they shed their skin. So they're a symbol of that, among other things, but that's one of their symbols, is to be for growth and transformation. So I thought, I'd add a snake. Well, when I did that, I thought, Eve. She's Eve. You know, from the Bible, the first story of the Bible, Eve, who, if anyone needs to retell her story, I think Eve does, because she really got a bad rap. She picked an apple, and now the weight of the world's sin is on her shoulders. And for me, I felt that, you know, and I thought, there's other ways to tell that story. And I sat and thought, what would she do if we gave Eve an opportunity to tell her story? What would she say? How would she say how it went down? And so I did. I sat down and wrote Eve's new story. Just, I mean, in like a 30-minute, wrote it out. I'm not going to share it with you, but it involves the fact that God gave her an option to leave the garden and live a bigger life outside. And the sign was to pick an apple from the tree. So she and Adam did that together. They picked an apple together and made the decision together to leave the garden. And that's how it happened. So I just thought, wait a minute now, writing her story again, rewriting it and giving her new life, that didn't, necessarily, I don't know if it's bad form to rewrite a biblical story. I didn't mean to be disrespectful in any way, but I did want to see, what is that like to rewrite a story that has such power in our culture, if you're of that persuasion, if you're Catholic. And so I did that, and then it also gave me permission, the idea of rewriting my own story was another step for that. The other piece about this one, when she was, this was Midlife Virgin, I decided to add kind of henna tattoos on her face and arms, and I was looking at telling my story, and I don't know if you are familiar at all with the chakra system, but there are 7 chakras in our body. They're physical, measurable, electrical energy chakras that where our body becomes more dense, and they're measured. They rotate. The energy rotates, and it's just concentrated energy. There's our root that connects us to the earth, our relationship center, our gut, or our emotional center, and then there our heart center, or our unconditional love. Our throat center is about communicating and relating to other people, and our intuition, our third eye, and then the divine. Our connection to the divine is at the crown of our head. So I was focusing on my throat, thinking, I'm going to tell this story. I'm not telling the story to anybody else, mind you. This is 2008. I'm like 7 years from standing up here talking about anything to anybody. I mean, this is in my room with the door closed, retelling my story kind of thing. So I get all done with her. I mean, like, I think I'm done. And there are nothing here at her throat. There's no designs on her throat. But she hangs in my studio for like a year. And I'm sitting one day and I look across and I just burst out laughing. I'm working on opening to talking and to telling my story, and I've done nothing here. So natch, I got up and got a paintbrush and some paint, and I did it because I was like, get that going. This is what the whole point was. So some transformations take time. That's the takeaway from that. So, the new Eve of Guadalupe, helping me retell my story. We're going to move to the back. Move with me.